Zealand gets a pretty high rainfall, so it's not surprising that the rivers run all the year here.
It's also a very mountainous country, so the rivers tend to run downhill very rapidly, particularly around Rotorua, this area in the North Island.
Now, because of that, New Zealand is famous for its water sports, things like canoeing and sailing and whitewater rafting. So today, we're going to shoot the rapids.
And after going downstream, we're going to turn around and come upstream using a very different method.
Well, here's the raft inflated and ready to go. It's really more like a boat than a raft, a boat designed to hold 8 people, made out of fabric impregnated with synthetic rubber. The rapids are where the water runs over stones, so you can't have a solid boat. It'll either break or bend. This will either bounce or slither. But we are going to take some water in, so you'll notice there are holes in the floor. The floor's above the water line. Any water we ship will drain out again, and that should keep us going pretty well. You can always tip over, or you could fall out, so there's an emphasis on safety. There are ropes to hang on to, and I'm dressed for the job. I've got a wetsuit to keep me warm. I've got a buoyancy vest to keep me upright in the water no matter what. If I hit a rock, that will protect my head. And of course, I've got shoes on to protect my feet as well. Now, gravity's going to bring us down, but we have to guide the raft. So you sit up on the side there, and that looks a bit hazardous. You could fall over. So your feet go into stirrups on the floor. That should hold you in while you work the paddle. Sitting up on the side means you get the maximum amount of power. We have to know what we're doing because it gets hectic up there, so our guide Keith will be giving us directions. They'll be short and sharp. He'll say left or right, depending on which side he wants to operate, and the commands will be forward, we drag the raft forward, back, we reverse it, or draw. We work to the side and make the raft go sideways, we hope. The great trick is to keep it going nose first, because if we go sideways, it could fill up with water and we'd be in a bit of trouble. Still, let's give it a go. Paddles on the boat, hop out either side. Okay, on the count of 3, just straight up above your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, up. Okay, just walk it slowly up the bank there. Okay, let it drop. Okay, excellent. Let's grab those valves. Well, that was terrific. A ride of a lifetime. And surprisingly easy to control as you're coming down the rapids. The trouble is at this point, the fun's over, and you've got to get it uphill again, a bit like skiing, before you can have another ride. The traditional way was to take it around the banks, but that's fairly hard work. These days, there's a great improvement, and it's a lot more fun. But first, you have to reduce that 8-man boat down to something that you can really put in a small hatch. Just undo that bow rope there, Rowan, and throw it under. Throw in both sides. Squash it out a bit more. Okay, 1, 2, 3, up. And there it is. That's our boat, reduced to a bundle that one person can just lift. And now it's ready for the return journey up the rapids.
To get back upstream we need power, and we'll be using a special New Zealand designed and built jet boat which has a very strong aluminium hull, just in case it hits any rocks in the rapids, a fiberglass top and a hatch at the front which is just big enough to fit our raft. Here comes the easy part, getting the raft into the hatch. Ready, Stuart?
Yep.
Here we go. There we go. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Now here's the business end of the boat, the jet engine. Now as you probably know, there are two different kinds of aeroplane. There are those that have the visible spinning propeller which pushes air backwards, forcing the plane forwards. Then there are jet planes which have the jet engines under the wings or at the back of the plane, sucking air in the front of the jet engine, speeding it up, pushing it out the back, once again forcing the plane forwards. Well, the same sort of thing happens in boats. Some boats have a propeller hanging down underneath. That propeller turns around, pushing water backwards, driving the boat forwards. That's a normal propeller boat. Then there are jet boats, as you can see here. And they have a special engine which sucks water in, speeds it up and pushes it out the back, driving the boat forwards. But the jet engine is actually in two main parts. This big bit that you can see here is really a car engine. Instead of turning wheels, what it's doing is turning this shaft here, which is attached to that pump. Now that pump sucks water in, and it has hidden inside a series of 3 propellers. Each propeller has blades more angled than the last one, so that as they spin around, dragging water through, the water speeds up. So as it goes out the hole at the back, it's travelling very fast indeed, forcing this boat forwards very rapidly. Normally the engine is hidden with a special padded cover. Now the controls of the jet boat are very simple. There's an accelerator down there. The more you put the foot down, the faster it goes. There's a steering wheel here which actually swings the jet nozzle to the left or to the right. And there's also a lever over here. It's in the forward position now, but when I swing it back here, it drops a cup over the jet nozzle, catching the water, sending the water forwards and us backwards. Now we're heading upstream. Now if we had a normal boat with a propeller hanging down underneath, when we get to the rapids it would be shattered by the rocks. The jet boat, however, only sits into the water when it's travelling at speed about 5 centimetres, so it can negotiate those rapids. So we're ready to go, but we need somebody who knows this river. To get to the top of the rapids, we'll hand over to Stuart, who's negotiated them thousands of times. Okay, Stuart? Away we go. That's all the way up the rapids and we didn't touch a rock. The round trip is completed.
And now we're there, we can get the raft out and do it all over again.